Can you see it? Okay, all right, then I'm not going to read it. You can read it. But you have these kinds of views. Okay, so here are two comments from Nicholas Carr, who's a writer I really like, and this book, The Shallows, that this first one comes from, is really interesting. But his point seems to be that Web 2.0 and the internet in particular, these things are destroying us in these really critical ways. Destroying our ability to concentrate. Destroying, for the second, this one, destroying our ability to even differentiate between the profound, the important, and the superficial. And it's turning us just into a culture of narcissists. This is the Twitter thing, the Facebook thing. I just had a great taco. That kind of thing. So this is one extreme, right? This is here we go, the decline of Western civilization, or all of civilization, whatever you want to say. The other view, then, of course, is sort of that web utopian view. All right, here we go. The web. This is going to lead us into this brave new world where everybody is a part of it. Everybody has freedom. Everybody's empowered. Democracy is going to spring up everywhere, and it's all because of the internet. Well, I mean, of course, neither extreme is really true. Of course, it's somewhere in the middle, right? But it's not even that. For me, what it comes down to, can you still read this? It's kind of light. Well, like most people, I feel it's somewhere in between. There are clearly amazing examples of individuals harnessing social media to spur on revolution. Just like the slide I showed you right before, Charles Ledbetter was saying. I mean, we don't have to look any further than the Arab Spring over the last year to see that. I know some people have started to make the argument that Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, blogging in general, they weren't really that instrumental in the Arab Spring. Malcolm Gladwell talks about this, but to me it doesn't make sense. Because I would never propose that it's only because of those things that the revolutions spreading across the Middle East took place. However, they certainly aided it. In terms of making people there see that, okay, if we take action, there's a lot of us who are about ready to take action. And that's a powerful thing that hadn't occurred before. There wasn't that outlet. So the bigger thing, though, well, okay, so that's on the one side. On the other side, as I already said, of course, we can see, you don't have to be online for very long at all before you come across the shrill, callous voices that are online. Make you want to just turn off the computer and say, that's it, I'm done. This doesn't even matter for me as a teacher. Because what matters for me as a teacher is from here down, right? Whatever we think of it, it's not going away. This is technology that is here now. And as a teacher, and I think some of you out here are also teachers, and some of you I know are students, and some of you may be students who aren't long out of high school. This is something that more and more as teachers we need to be integrating into the classroom because it's meeting our students in the place where they spend a lot of their time. And to be ignoring it, to me, it would seem weird as a student to come into the classroom and have a teacher who never mentions it, never tries to integrate it, never tries to do anything in particular with it. I mean, I would be thinking, does this person have a life outside of this classroom? Does this person realize what my world is when I'm not in these four walls staring at, him or a board? So I decided that I would actually survey my students, just do a really informal survey and ask them what they thought about digital technology. As I was going to share some things here, I was curious. So how do you use it? What do you make of it? So what do my digital natives say? Now that's another term that I just want to take a moment to explain. And this is a term that's coined by this guy, Mark Pensky, in a book that he wrote way back in 2001. So, a digital native. A digital native is somebody who has not had to relearn what it means to live in a digital space, because that's what they've grown up with. Okay, so older people in here, and I mean, that's me. We're digital immigrants from that previous title. We're digital immigrants, meaning we already lived a good portion of our life not in digital space. And so we've had to learn, well, what does this mean? How am I supposed to engage and interact in this space? Digital natives are people who are growing up with it, right? And so they don't have to relearn that. And now the things I'm about to say are, of course, generalities, okay? But I'm going to say them anyway. Digital natives typically see information as malleable, which I was already kind of talking about with the remix that I did. You know, that, oh, there's information everywhere, and it's up to me to take it and make whatever I want out of it. You know? So information is malleable, and that also gives them a sense of control, feeling a sense of control over information. For digital natives, there's no real differentiation between online identity and offline identity. This is who I am. Where again, for a lot of us who are older, there's been a struggle like, oh, what do I want to do online? What do I want to keep offline? There isn't that differentiation. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, yeah, and there should be for digital natives. Like, that's one thing that is a problem, right, is that they don't have this clear-cut sense of privacy, and that can get them into some real problems. That could lead to some real danger. Well, again, I think if that is a concern, all the more reason these conversations belong in the classroom, once again. So I just want to take one moment here. And, okay, here's what happened yesterday. So yesterday, I'm working on this presentation, trying to put some final touches on PowerPoint, and I have my computer sitting there, and I leave for about 10 minutes. And I come back upstairs, and this is my son and daughter, and they've taken my computer. Right now, we only have one computer. Our other one is being repaired. So 4 of us are trying to, yes, it's done, all right?
It's done.
4 of us are trying to share this one computer. And I come back upstairs, I'm ready to get right back into what I was doing, and they have, and I'm like, oh, guys, I need the computer right now. And they say, oh, can't we just take 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes? Fine, you can have 10, 15 more minutes. And so before I walked away, I said, well, what are you doing? Because if, you're watching, I don't know, whatever Disney show videos on YouTube, then no, I'm taking it. But they said that they're working again on this iMovie that they started after our vacation this last summer. So after our vacation this last summer, my son had seen me working and playing around with iMovie from time to time, and one day he came and he said, well, can you show me how iMovie works? Because I have all these pictures from the summer. I want to make a video. So I said, sure. So I gave him a lesson, okay? But this lesson, really, it wasn't more than 5 minutes. And most of the lesson went like this. Okay, so here's what you do. Yeah, okay, I got it then. Okay, and then you do, yeah, I got it then. And finally, after about 5 minutes, he looked at me and said, okay, I got it. And he did have it. That's a digital native. Because, and that's, I'm not holding my son up as like, oh, see how brilliant that guy is? He is, but not for these reasons. But it's that he's grown up manipulating, working with a computer, understanding how, what I do with my hand on the mouse pad, but earlier with a mouse, that leads to these actions up here. He knows how to manipulate this stuff. Every once in a while now, he will still ask me questions, but, it's, oh, I forgot I had these linked up. This is actually a video, not a picture. Not this. See, I didn't set it up this way. They really were working on it. Yeah, sure, you just sat here in front of them. So that was actually, they were looking at this finished product one. This, you get a little better look at my son down here in the corner, actually bringing pictures in, working with some cropping and editing. He'll still ask me questions every once in a while, but as soon as I tell him what to do, he does it, and he never asks again. It's there. Okay, oh, right. Okay, that's how I do that. It's digital native. Right? These are the students who are coming into my classroom. Not students. These are the kids coming into my classroom. It demands that I change the way that I teach, that I think about this as I teach. So this was the survey that I did. And I don't write survey questions, so I'm sure the survey questions themselves aren't that great. But it was a quick Google thing. How often do you post comments to fan sites, chat groups, blogs, and other online sites? Now, I was surprised by this. For my students, the majority of them said never to pretty much never. Although I realized later that had I changed blogs and online sites to Facebook and Twitter, the chart would have gone the other way. So they are there. The way that I asked the question, maybe not as much. 2 more, and I know this is kind of small, so I will just read this. In the future, I will post written and/or non-text-based content online for school and